What was the most challenging thing as a master's student?
Embracing a lot of new things all at once became something that was really fulfilling.
Then I get this question all the time. How did you find your research question?
So I want to say it developed over the course of at least a semester, maybe got even more detailed throughout the first year of graduate study.
今日はね、ちょっといつもと違うんですよ。多分一回見たことあると思うんですけど、エリカ先生、プロフェッサーエリカ。What's your family name?
Van Dyke.
Dr. Van Dyke。そう、今スプリングフィールドでアシスタントプロフェッサー、日本でいう助教をやってるんですけど、すごい仲良かったんですよ。今日は大学院に関することとか、教員の生活とか、いろんな角度からね、ちょっとインタビュー形式でちょっと対話形式ね、していきたいと思います。So I guess today I'm gonna ask you some questions. Don't get nervous. you will be perfectly fine. But the first question is, so when you look back, your time as a master's student here at Springfield College, so how do you describe it? I know it's kind of difficult to start, but if somebody asks you,
I know that's a great question. I can't believe that was 10 years ago now,
right,
that I started here at Springfield College as a graduate student in athletic counseling, and really I think back really fondly on the experience here. I think it was a blend of the people, having such wonderful colleagues as and peers, and our faculty as mentors to help educate us through athletic counseling and taking on new roles. I think there were a lot of different opportunities to soak up learning experiences. So I know we got to share experience as coaches in different sports, gymnastics and tennis. So developing as a coach and getting to teach skills courses in physical activity settings like yoga and relaxation and aerobic activities and other like tennis and racquetball. So that space, and then also as a student, taking classes in counseling and different disciplines, and then getting to work with teams and athletes as an athletic counselor and doing the one-on-one work for their performance and well-being. So I think when I look back on my time as a graduate student, I think of the people that I had the opportunity to learn with and get to know, who are still very much close friends and colleagues, and also just the variety of experiences that we got to have as students.
What was the most challenging thing as a master's student?
As a master's student, I think some of the most challenging parts were embracing a lot of new things all at once. So we were asked to fulfill roles, like I mentioned, a lot of those different roles as coaches, as students, as counselors, as educators. And so taking on a lot of those really new experiences all at the same time was sometimes challenging, maybe a little bit stressful at times to balance and make sure to also dedicate time to self-care amidst all of the responsibilities and commitments that we held as graduate students. So I think that was one of the more challenging parts, but also rewarding. So it's almost like the thing that was challenging when you came to learn and master it became something that was really fulfilling and one of the things I enjoyed a lot. And then I think the other piece that was challenging about the graduate degree, the master's degree, was the research. So carving out time on top of the other roles that we hold to engage in research, to explore the literature, and to draft a project, to collect data and analyze and write up a manuscript, all for the first time, I think was a really enjoyable learning experience, but also I think a challenging one because it was so new.
Sure. So I guess, speaking of research, I think including myself, it's not easy to find like what topic you're going to research on. Then I get this question all the time. How did you find your research question? Then how did you find your research question?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I haven't reflected on it in a little while, so it's really fun. So one of our faculty members in the program, Judy Van Ralt, has studied self-talk for a lot of years and has done a lot of research and scholarship in that particular area. And so in coming into a program and working closely with those mentors, I kind of started to think about what would I want to study. And because that was an area of particular expertise for my advisor and mentor, it seemed a really interesting potential path to do. And also, it connected to my own personal experience. As a gymnast, I used self-talk often, especially on the balance beam. When I was going through different skills in my routine, I would kind of think to myself certain words to help me stay focused and positive and to perform at my best. And so I wondered, how might other athletes in that sport that was so close to me that I had performed in for so long, how might other athletes use self-talk and how might it impact their performance? And so kind of took an expertise area of my mentor and an interest of mine and sport background that I had experience in for a long time and melded those to study self-talk and competitive balance beam performance in collegiate gymnasts.
Another question is, like, how long do you think you spend time to find the research topic? Because sometimes 1 year, sometimes 1 semester, but remember, like, what was the kind of process to find that topic? Like, can you tell us a little bit about sort of steps people need to go through?
Yeah, so I think if you're going to be spending a lot of time doing something like research, you might as well have an interest in it and have it be something that you would enjoy learning about. So that was a priority and where I started. So I thought about in our discipline of athletic counseling that we earned a degree in, that was where the research was going to be focused. So I thought back to my athletic experiences and I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to learn something about collegiate gymnasts? So I thought that would be the population that I would study because it was personally relevant and interesting to me and might contribute back to the sport that I had done for so many years. So I started there and then I wondered, okay, what about the athlete gymnast do I study? And that's where I think the next step was considering what were my kind of mental performance tools that I turned to, what are the expertise areas of my mentor and advisor, because having them be familiar with the topic seemed really helpful, especially for the first research project that I would be collaborating on. So I think, as we mentioned, merging the initial interest in studying in a particular sport context with also the kind of discipline of self-talk that my advisor was had done a lot of work in, and also my personal experience using that skill, it seemed to fit. So it was something kind of a little bit iterative where started with one interest and then explored and matched into other topics. So I want to say it developed over the course of at least a semester, maybe got even more detailed throughout the first year of graduate study. So it took a little while, but I think from the initial interest, the next step was, okay, what's been done? What's already been conducted? So then exploring the research literature, searching for lots of articles to see what have scholars already studied in this area and where could my project feasibly fill a gap or contribute to the body of work that's already been done. So that was kind of the next step. And that probably progressed throughout the next semester, and we took courses in research methods and proposal design. So through those courses was able to develop my project more fully.
Cool. So I wasn't really thinking about asking this question, but so my viewer, want to go to sometimes master's program, sometimes PhD